Has Toyota lost their way? That's what we're going to talk about today. I think they have. Folks, this is a 2026 Toyota Tundra that has failed at just about 9,000 miles. That is bad news, I think. It indicates what everybody fears about Toyota is that they're just not fixing this problem or the root cause of it. I will say, though, I have seen failures slow down. I have some positives and negatives. I have some personal stories about Toyota. Toyota's powertrain issues have got to get fixed for these Tundra owners. Before we get into that 2026, I wanted to show you a couple other things that are going on with Toyota. Here's a 2024 with 32,000 miles knocking. And this one might actually be one of the most ridiculous repairs. I would never accept this back. Wait till you hear this. Tell me if you would accept this truck back being a truck that's under warranty.
We finally got answer back from Toyota. Basically, they made me do a bunch of measurements inside the valves, the springs, and the turbo, a bunch of different measurements on this engine. We need 2 new heads, basically. Oil coming through the seals, like going inside the cylinder and getting burned up on these 2 front cylinders. So we're replacing the heads, machining them, and then replacing the valves as well. These 23s and 24s hybrids have this problem, but we are going to be fixing it. So it's going to take a long time. Thank you for choosing Toyota. When I park, my name is Jason, and hopefully have a great day.
Oh my goodness. Gonna get new valves, new heads, and they're gonna send them to a machine shop to get machined, and then they're gonna rebuild this engine. Can you imagine owning a 24 Tundra under warranty, and they tell you, hey man, here's a loaner, we're gonna rebuild this engine? There's no way. There's no way I would accept that repair on this truck. I'd be like, buy back, get a lawyer. That's insane. Here's a guy with a 2023 TRD Pro Hybrid that locked up with only 72,000 miles, metal shavings in the oil. Now remember, the hybrids aren't included in the recall. 72,000 miles. I wonder what happens to this guy. Person in the comments there saying his dealer has 2 failed hybrids right now. They need to extend the recall to include the hybrids. Yes, they definitely do. These hybrid people will not get a long block typically, and they're not included in the recall. I bet this guy is going to have to pay out of pocket somewhat. It's 72,000 miles. Here's another guy, Nate Steele in the comments. Rebuilt engine and new transmission at 18,000 miles on a 2024 hybrid. Again, hybrid not included in the recall. Spent 4 months at the dealership waiting for parts. Toyota refused the buyback after 75 days of that process. He's turned 25,000 miles on it now with no problems. Knock on wood. Boy, I would be dumping that thing. And here's the crazy part. Joshua Young was the start of this post. He's the one with the hybrid that had 72,000 miles. He said, update, Toyota dealership called me Thursday and said the extended warranty won't pay the full price of a brand new engine and turbos. So he had an extended warranty on the thing. That I would have to pay $4,000 to $5,000 out of pocket for a new engine. So they are going to put a used engine in with 1,000 miles on it and use turbos with 10,000 miles on them. Either way, I'm still going to be covered under extended warranty until 120,000 miles. Wow. There is no way I would accept that. I would be getting a lawyer for sure. Another person here, Mark Lincoln, 2024 hybrid went at 27,000 miles. Yet another one, mine's in the shop with 52,000 miles, 2023 TRD Pro, metal in the oil and had a ticking noise. All right, so here's the Facebook post in the group. He's got 9,300 miles on this, got the check engine light. His story goes, he has a 2026 SR5. He had engine failure at 9,300 miles, started to lose power and hesitation and downshifting, barely able to keep 40 miles an hour, pulled into the dealer service lane and it started to knock and shut off. Engines are junk. So then I went to the groups, just to the forums to try to find this guy just to see if he's really legit. So I found the same guy on tundras.com. So this post just a couple of days ago, he said it was in relation to 2025 failures in the Tundras. He said, forget about the 25s failing. My 26 just had engine failure, dumping it now. He was in the process of picking up a Tacoma. Now, of course, as the internet goes, you know, people are calling him a liar, saying he's trolling, this and that and the other. So here was his response to them. He said, you can pick up the $8,000 loss that I had on my 2026 on trade. I now have a 2026 Tacoma because it was pretty much an even trade. Better yet, I can text you the VIN of the vehicle that at the dealership so you can confirm. 9,300 miles, dead on the clock. According to my trade-in paperwork, it was knocking in the service lane and then just shut off and wouldn't start back up again. Wouldn't crank, and it made metallic noises. I was sick to my stomach to look at it. Worse yet, no new long block. So the thing that he was going to be told, it was a 40-day repair on his Tundra because the 2026s obviously aren't included in a recall. So he would have been getting that short block rebuild, not a crate engine. So it wouldn't have been a quick turnaround for him. Look, and this guy's a Toyota fanboy. He bought a Tacoma to replace this, which is kind of crazy. He said, but it's like playing Russian roulette with these third gens. What have I always said on this channel? The Tundras, the GM 6.2, it's like playing roulette. He goes on to say, you know, the second gen Tundras had their issues sorted out by the second or third year, these V35A engines. Whether it's manufacturing defect or a design flaw, you guys can carry on that discussion on your own. And this is my daughter's 2025 Toyota Camry. Here's the key for it. I'll show you more on that in a second. Her screen just cuts out, turns black while she's on the highway. You know, it's a simple thing, but you have to completely power the screen off to get it back on. Pretty irritating that you have to reboot this thing while you're driving. It's also a little bit distracting too. Another thing, all the way down, I explained this in my Camry review, all the way down to the key fob. Now, if you look at these two key fobs, this one is the old key fob from a 2018 Camry. This one is the 2025. This one is significantly heavier. I mean, it weighs like 10 times as much as this one. This one feels like it couldn't even survive a drop on concrete, and this one feels like you could use it as a weapon. But seriously, I mean, even down to the plastics and the metals they use in the key fob. Imagine if they took so much care in cutting costs down to here. I just imagine maybe that's why they're having these powertrain problems still and just quality issues all around. And this continues to happen. This is a 2026 Tundra 1794 edition with that big moonroof and it cracks. You've seen this a lot. I've had it on this channel where these just pop out of nowhere. And a lot of the time Toyota says, hey, it must have been a foreign object that hit it. And I don't think it is. I think it's the vehicle stress. They're not as rigid because they're making these vehicles so thin with, you know, everything, aluminum panels, everything's just thinner and less rigid and it flexes more. And I think that's probably why the glass is popping, or the glass is just so thin that it's weak. You can go to my website, thecarguyonline.com. I don't see a lot of NHTSA failures like we do with the 25s and previous. Now, the 2026s haven't been out that long, but I don't see any engine failures reported there. Now, generally speaking, if you see one here, it's worth like 20 or 50 in the real world because most people don't report to NHTSA, which is unfortunate. But at least I don't see any here. It's not like they're popping off left and right like GM 6.2 liters. And if you drop back to the 2025 Tundra, I do see 28 engine related things. Some of these are due to throttle lag. That throttle lag issues in the 26s still as well. But there are some of these complete engine failures left me stranded on the highway. There still are problems coming in with the 25s. This is yet another reason. I tell people all the time, they post in the forums or they ask me in person, would you buy a Tundra used? Dude, it's only got 20,000 miles. It's under warranty. No, I would not. Me personally. Now, if you want to take that risk, that's fine. I just don't understand why people want to take a risk with a known powertrain that could just pop off at any second. The same thing could happen with a GM 6.2 liter or some of those 3-liter Duramaxes early in 25. On and on you go. It's not brand specific anymore. People need to stop having so much brand loyalty. Look at every engine and every powertrain in vehicles as its own little silo. Research years, make, model, powertrains. Don't research brand. Don't say, I love Toyota. I've always bought Toyota. I trust them. That is not the way you should be shopping for powertrain reliability, in my opinion. That's not how I shop. I learned this a long time ago. You could have 5 good years of a Toyota Tundra, second gen or first gen, and then you could have 1 or 2 bad years. You know, people think that 2008 Tundras were bad. They weren't really bad in comparison to this, but you kind of get the point. And no, this is not just a rip on Toyota video. I think a lot of manufacturers are having problems. I got to take my new Ram in tomorrow, drop it off at 8 a.m. I have no idea if it's going to be fixed, but I'll try to cut a video on that and tell you guys what's going on with it. No powertrain issues, but still pretty irritating that I got to be without a truck. At least it's not the powertrain, not the transmission and engine. That's all I can say. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you're out there in the crowd, Joe Wolf, contact me, cars@thecarguyonline.com. Love to have you on the show. Thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time.